Hello and welcome to Comic Reviews and Acts. This is Sean reviewing for you, and I'm going to be reviewing Iron Man issue number 8. Now, this is part 3 of 3 of the Avengers vs. X-Men Aftermath of the God Killer Tony franchise. Um, so yeah, let's get started straight into it. I mean, we left off in the last issue with Tony Shate Run, was it? He got captured into prison. Robot 451 went off to meet it, came up to meet him, and it told him to claim his right to fight for his freedom. And that's where it ended. And it ended with Tony being challenged by a 30-foot robot. So let's go straight into this issue. Start off with the cover. I mean, the cover is pretty damn nice, I think. I mean, it's still actually two artists, one penciler and one inker, which is surprising because I would have thought it would have, they would have changed it to one yet, because the art definitely is improving, but it's still. I still think it'd be better if they just chose it down to one person. But the art is definitely improving as they go on issue by issue. I don't know. Maybe they're working together a bit more. Maybe they've sat down and had a chat. I don't know. But this cover is really nice. The whole Tony's jumping up and challenging him like that. It's really nice. I do like this cover. The artwork looks a lot better. But yeah, let's go straight into the comic. So it starts off with Tony fighting this huge 30-foot robot. And he's throwing things at him. Tony's having to dodge all out of the way. Nothing Tony can do is just dodging and getting hit, and he's getting absolutely beaten. And Tony's saying that he's cheating. And he's saying, "Why can't I use my arm if you're a 30-foot robot?" And he's saying, "I'm not using my upgrades. That'd be cheating." And Tony goes, "You're a 30-foot robot." And he explains how he was born a 30-foot robot. That's just the way he is. He's never been flesh. He's just born a robot. And Tony just gets absolutely smashed, and he's losing so badly. I mean, let's just quickly take this moment here to talk about how well the art's improving. Just this shot here, as you can see, the art is improving, especially along here. Tony's actually starting to look like Tony now. It's decent. But yeah, let's carry on. So then goes to 451, who was walking out with the Voldy star that he was had at the last one, in the last issue that he was stealing. And he goes, yes, one other thing. And he releases, I assume releases, he releases Tony's suit. Come and rescue him at your earliest convenience. So it goes to the next shot where Tony's suit bursts in through the roof and saves Tony. Zaps out the robot out of the way. Tony gets in the suit and then makes a run for it. And as he makes a run for it, I mean, that's a nice shot there. You got to admit, I do like that shot. Not turbo time, but it is a nice shot. And then he starts getting chased by these robots, and these robots start all chasing him. And Tony finds his way to the armory. Now, this bit kind of confused me, because this armory hasn't been in these issues so far. You'd only understand this armory if, I don't know, if you're reading Guardians or something, but not everyone is. So I would have liked a bit more reference to this armory here, because they've not talked about it yet. But anyway, I digress. It's nice because the armory's there, gives him an upgrade, and then he turns around and starts fighting all the robots that are after him, calling him a heretic. And then it goes back to the Voldy. And you have all these huge sentient beings just staring down at the window. And then they start to blow stuff up. They really do. They just start, and then they're confused. They run and they realise that the Voldy is gone. That Voldy star is gone. Or the heart of the Voldy, that was it. And then they realise what's going to happen. And these sentient beings, I assume, will just tear into them. And then it goes to Tony, back to Tony. And Tony's having a fight with them all. But then all of a sudden they shut down. They're dead. And then Tony asks what's happening, and the suit just says it's horrible. It really is. So Tony says, accelerate, get there. Then 451 stops and says, I'd stay clear for a while. And it just keeps flipping back and forth to what's happening, and Tony racing his way there. back and forth. I mean, it even shows here one of the Voldy trying to fight them off, but that's just not going to happen at all. So Tony races back. There is the Voldy just get zapped out, and then it just says it explains how it's a leech to them sentient beings, or like a leech to us. How if you know, like if you had a leech on you, the leech would see you as some great provider, but you see it as a parasite. But it doesn't bother you if you never notice that the leech is there. But the moment you notice that the leech is there, you're going to do what you can to get it off you. And that's the way they explain it. And because even though the leech is just trying to survive, it doesn't matter what the leech thinks. It's still a parasite. So that's what they do. That's the way he explains it. And when you do notice the parasite, God help the parasite. And then Tony gets there, and he realizes what's just happened. And Tony says, "Give me survivors," and there is none. And then 451 explains how it's not enough to watch anymore. After all that watching, it's not enough. You have to eventually act. And then Tony explains how this was all just a ploy. And 451 says, "Yes, I'm sorry, but this was all part of my plan." It's the kind of one to it's kind of kill 1,000 to save 1,000,000 type thing. So then it goes into 451 disappearing and Tony vowing to hunt him down, and then that's where the comic ends. I mean, I actually really enjoyed this issue. The artwork was a lot better. The story arc was a lot better. The action was good. The art it was just generically a better issue than what they've done. It still had its downfalls, well, not downfalls really, but it still had its negative points. For example, the armory kind of came out of nowhere, so that was a bit of a shock. I was like, whoa. So that was kind of a bit confusing. But other than that, it was really enjoyable. I could read it again, so I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10 for them reasons. It was good story arc, good artwork, good action, just a bit confusing at times. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10, and enjoy.